Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to stick to Sweden, but we're going to head north to Stockholm for this one, the capital city, and we're going to go out to the east of the main part of the city to a little set of islands that is very, very beautiful called the Fjäderholmarnas. So for this one, of course, then we are going to have a look at another beer from Fjäderholmarnas Bryggeri, the Fjäderholm Islands Brewery, if you want to translate that into English. And this is a style of beer that's quite different compared to the other ones that I've had from them before. So we're going to have a look at my first lager beer from them. This one is the Cutyard lager, coming in at 5% ABV, and they're describing this one as a Vienna style lager. So yeah, really curious to see how this one turns out, because the Vienna lagers are not something that you come across all that often. So if you've watched the channel recently, you'll know that I'm going through a bit of a lager phase and reviewing a lot of pilsners and lagers and things like that. So this is one that I just really wanted to have a go at. One, because I haven't had anything from Fjäderholmarnas in a little while, and two, because, you know, I like my traditional German style beers actually. Of course, the Vienna style lager is, of course, from Austria. But when it comes to lager beers, there are a few kind of things we need to consider. So the style mainly seems to kind of propagate, if you like, around the kind of Bavaria region and the Bohemia region in the Czech Republic. So there's a few different things we need to say there. There is the blonde lagers, there are the blonde lagers I should say, the Helles from Germany, and then the Svetli from the Czech Republic. Then of course you have the Vienna lager, which is the amber lager, originating from Vienna in Austria. And of course the Czech equivalent of that is the Letzak. Which is, you know, more the Czechs I think basically call it an amber lager. Beyond that you've got the brown lagers, which in Czech is the Černý, in Germany it's the Dunkel. Then you have the Tmavy in the Czech Republic, the black lager, which translates to Schwarzbier in Germany. And of course beyond that you've got the Doppelbock as well, which is basically a very, very strong Dunkel beer. There are various other styles that are similar to this. You have the Kölsch lagers, the Dortmunder Helles lagers, you do have the Bock beers, which are fairly similar as well, from Einbeck in Saxon. I don't know if the Alt beers fit into this category as well. I actually can't remember what type of fermentation the Alt beers undergo, but yeah, those are the main styles of beer that you'll find in Germany and the Czech Republic that relate to this. So yeah, definitely cool to try another Vienna lager after a little while. I've always enjoyed this style, but as I say, it's not one that you come across all that often. So fingers crossed that Fjäderholmarnas have produced a nice one here, and if I do like this lager, I will see about reviewing some of the other ones that they have, because I think they've got a Pilsner and stuff like that as well, if I remember correctly. But yeah, you will definitely see more reviews from this brewery in the future. This is review number 6 from Fjäderholmarnas Bryggeri. I reviewed the Dubbel Larsen IPA, the Mr. Coco Imperial Stout, the heavy barley wine, if I remember rightly. Then there was the Yarrow, and then there was the Big Mama, both of which were IPAs, of course, and now we have this one, which is review number 6. So yeah, fingers crossed it's a good beer, and I hope that you guys enjoy my take on this one as well. So let's see how we get on. As always with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery before we taste the beer. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Fjäderholmarnas Bryggeri before. No doubt you will see some more from these guys in the near future. There's all the usual social media down there as well. If you want to see more reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, province, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you showed the channel is massively, massively appreciated. And do let me know some other Vienna lagers that I should have a look at. I do want to explore this style a little bit more. So anyway, on to the Fjäderholmarnas Bryggeri notes then. So, Fjäderholmarnas Bryggeri, as I've mentioned to you already, is based on the small set of islands of the same name out to the east of central Stockholm. The company was founded back in 2013 by Pelle Ågren and Andreas Willman, and they both previously worked for McMyra, the whisky distiller. So they'd often talked about brewing beer together, and then they began to homebrew and just kind of gradually got more and more into it. Eventually they managed to sort out their own premises in late 2013, and they were ready to open it by April of 2014. So Tobias Forsberg was the head brewer until the summer of 2019, and then he was replaced by Per Salkvist, who used to work for Nordic Kiwi Brewers in Ekerö, which is kind of southwestish Stockholm, if I remember correctly. They've got some very nice beers as well, now of course known as Northern Exposure Brewing Company. But they've got their own restaurant and bar, but this stops trading over the winter months and it usually runs from spring to autumn. I'm not sure if they are running it now with the whole COVID-19 situation, but the brewery itself runs as a year-round business, and the brewery is located right next to the water, and apparently most of their customer base for the restaurant is actually tourists coming to visit the islands. So yeah, I do need to get up there and visit the brewery, and also do an interview with these guys as well. They did say they wanted to do a Meet the Brewer interview at some point, so this is a brewery that you will see feature in a Meet the Brewery segment at some point in the future, of course. But the brewery apparently has its own boat as well, but this doesn't solve all the problems that they have with logistics. They do take most of their beers over to the mainland themselves, from what I understand. In 2018 they produced around 70,000 litres of beer. 1/3 of that was sold on the island itself, 1/3 was going to the rest of Stockholm, and then 1/3 was going to Systembolaget to be sold across the rest of the country and things like that. But yeah, a very nice brewery, this one. As of July 2020, when I'm filming this review for you, I had to think about the year there, that's bad, brain is going, but they've produced around 65 different kinds of beer according to Untappd, and as I said to you earlier, I've had some very nice experiences with these guys. I'd probably say that the best beers you're going to get from them are the winter beers that they do, the Mr. Cocoa and the Heavy, but some of the other IPAs and things they've had are really quite nice. You'll always get a solid beer out of Fjäderholmarnas Bryggeri, and to be honest, they do remind me quite a bit when I try the beers of the things that I get in Malmö Brewing Company, the brew pub that I often go to in Malmö, of course. So yeah, these guys, I do really like them, and I hope that I can go and visit their restaurant and film a wee interview and things like that with them as well. So yeah, definitely something that I'll be looking at the next time I go up to Stockholm. I need to time my next visit to Stockholm sometime in the summer, and I do hope that these guys are not having problems with the whole COVID-19 situation and stuff. But yeah, let's see how we get on with this beer itself then. That's all you need for the history. If you want to learn more, check out the brewery website. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with all the latest goings on, and of course you can check out the Rate Beer, Untappd and Beer Advocate pages to learn more about all of the different beers that these guys have done. So yeah, let's get on and actually have a little look at the beer itself then. I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork of this one before we open it up. There you can see it's got the crab on it there. It's got a nice red colour to kind of represent the Vienna lager. There is the anchor, of course, you know, just kind of symbolising that this brewery is right next to the water on an island and things. And I do like this little touch as well. They've got the coordinates of exactly where the brewery is. There is a little blurb on the side here, so it says Cutyard Lager. So it says Cutyard is a well-hopped lager beer in the style of the Vienna lager, and vending in, I guess you would say, implementations or uses. Basically they've used a hell of a lot of Vienna malt in this one, gives it a nice malt, basically this gives it a nice malt base together with you know, huge additions of American hops, and this brings it's green balance. That's an unusual one. Green usually means something negative, so it brings it brings like a, I don't know how you would translate that exactly. Green, as I say, is usually a negative word, I would think. But it brings, basically, this brings a balance between the malts, the sweetness, and the hop flavours, if you like. The name Cutyard comes from something basic, albeit creative. Cutyard comes from something basic, albeit creative, a translation of the word Fjädergård, which basically means like cutting yard, if you like, or cutting farm, almost, if you want to translate it. But for information, we feel, for your information, we feel much more pride about the ingredients in the bottle, or the contents of the bottle, than we do about our translations. So yeah, that I can say the same. My translation there is a little bit weak, but I think I've managed to do all right with that. So yeah, they're basically saying, the only thing that really bamboozled me a little bit with that was green, because usually that is a negative word. Actually, it means like you know, it usually means it's a negative thing. It means like kind of savage or you know, just not good, basically, green. But yeah, as I say, really nicely presented beer, this one. Nice bottle cap on it there, 5% Vienna lager. So without further ado, we'll leave the translations to people who are more well versed in that, but let's get this guy out and we will get on with the tasting then. So yeah, let's get this guy out and into the glass. Ooh, this looks nice. My glass is clean, but the carbonation's still sticking to the side of it there. There we go. Is there sediment in this one? No. Nicely done, nicely done. But yeah, the other thing I forgot to mention, this beer was released on the 1st of July 2020 as part of the Lokalt Osmoskalid assortment in Systembolaget. And when I saw a Vienna lager, I just thought, right, need to have this. Haven't reviewed anything. I think my last review from Fjäderholmarnas was like February or March or something like that. So this one, I have been due to take a look at another one of their beers. I need to see what they have readily available on Systembolaget actually, and just see. But I usually review the new ones. You know, I always look at the release list and review the new ones rather than going back. But we will see about reviewing. I'd love to review some of their other lagers, but I think there are a few beers in Systembolaget that you know, there's a few that they do that you can't get actually. But yeah, as you can see with this beer, it's poured a lovely kind of almost gingery, very light mahogany kind of colour there, a very light, slightly mahogany tinted amber there. You could see that when we poured this one, there was a good half finger of a frothy, kind of ivory coloured head on this one. That's faded away to just be a very, very thin foamy layer, but the beer itself is crystal clear. I'm not sure how well that's going to show up on the camera because the glass is getting a little bit of condensation. Of course, it's cooling because the beer is a little bit cold. It's cooling the water that's in the air, and that sticks to the side of the glass. Bit of thermodynamics for you there. My degrees, my chemistry and physics degrees are going to good use. But yeah, one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass there, a few little ones going up towards the bottom of that head there, but you know, overall it does look pretty nice, I have to say. And this is pretty much what you would expect for a Vienna lager. Some of them can be a little bit darker than this, some of them can be, I think, yeah, this is one of the lighter ones I think that I've come across in fairness. So yeah, quite often you will find ones that are a little bit darker than this, but definitely not out with the realms of possibility for a Vienna lager. I'm curious to think about what hops they've put in this, so we will need to play guess the hops with this. They did say American hops. Ooh, that does smell pretty nice actually. Yeah, so straight away with this one, you can smell that lovely bready Vienna malt in there. The Vienna malt, I always find, it gives you a lovely breadiness, but it does give you this kind of lighter caramelly biscuity sort of thing as well, and you can find that just really forms the backbone of this beer in the aroma. I mean, you've got a lovely kind of bright white bready quality in there, and then it almost just has it's like a kind of buttery bread crusty sort of thing you get out of this. You know, as I told you on the channel many times, I used to live in Heidelberg in Germany, and I loved the German breads. The German bakeries, in my mind, are some of the best in the world. The Japanese are very good at making bread now because they learned from the Germans. And you know, Austria, I was in Austria when I was very young. I really need to go back to Austria and explore it more because it's a beautiful, beautiful country. You know, it's the malts that you get, the Austrian bread as well, I remember from when I was young, was also very, very good. Something in Central Europe, you are going to get some really, really nice kind of bready qualities there. But yeah, the Vienna malt is lovely, as I say, a nice kind of white bready base to it, a bit of a bread crusty thing going on. There is a wee bit of a sweet caramel coming out of this one, but not too strong. It is leaning a bit more towards the kind of McVitie's digestive biscuity side of things. I would say that about it. Yeah, I would definitely say that about this beer, 100%. Yeah, I think this one is I think this is very, very nice. I mean, it smells, the thing is with these beers, or the lager beers, you're not going to get such a pungent aroma out of them. You do have to kind of take this one in quite deeply to get a good bit of the you know, to get a good bit of the aroma out of it. But I think this one does have a wee bit of Pilsner malt and stuff in it, because you can smell a bit of that crispness to it, in fairness. It really has that distinct, almost wet, bready quality and, you know, quite sharp crispness that you expect of Pilsner malt. It's hard. Pilsner malt's a very hard thing to describe in the aroma, but I'm sure if you're into your beer, you'll know exactly what I mean. This one definitely has a little bit of that wet, bready and very, very crisp, malty character to it, which I really like. Yeah, the aroma of this is nice. The more and more I smell of it, the more it kind of gradually sweetens up. You get a little bit of a sweeter caramel, slightly toasted, slightly more biscuity and things. But yeah, I really like how, I do like how that side of this beer comes together. The aroma is very, very nice actually. So yeah, on the hoppy side of things, to me it actually doesn't smell too American. I guess maybe what they're doing with this one is using like one of the German noble hops as the base hop, so that you don't get a huge bitterness out of it, and then putting the American hops in later on so that they contribute more to the flavour and less to the bitterness. That of course is the trade-off with these beers, is that the earlier you add the hops, the more bitter it makes the beer, but if you add them after, usually a lager I think is a 90-minute boil, so usually if you add them after the hour mark, you get a trade-off between bitterness and flavour and aroma. So that's probably what they're doing with this one, I would think. But yeah, you get a lovely little bit of that kind of German noble earthiness out of this one. The other thing they could be adding to this is Czech Sats, right enough, or Žatec as they call it. That's the other option. So I think probably this one either has Hallertau, Tettnanger, or Czech Žatec in it. It smells a little bit softer, so I would suspect that maybe it doesn't. I find the Czech hops are a little bit brighter and almost a bit spicier than this, so I do suspect it's maybe Hallertau that's in this. But yeah, the green side of the beer for me, this one, it leans towards the grassiness. There is a wee bit of a floral character there, but you've got a nice kind of soft earthiness as well. I don't know if the Austrians grow their own hops, come to think of it. Something I need to investigate a little bit more. But yeah, the green side of the hops is pretty much what you would expect from this style. Very German in character, like very German or Czech, you know, Central European, that noble type quality that you expect. You need to be careful with that, talking about a Vienna lager and then mentioning Germany all the time. You need to be careful with that, definitely. But yeah, on the fruity side of things then, for me, this one, it strikes me as quite orangey. I wouldn't be surprised if the American hop they've used in this, if it's Amarillo. The other option would be a bit of Mosaic, to be honest, and you know, there are other things like Azacca, and Sabro does have a bit of orange as well, but Sabro gives you these really distinctive coconutty notes. Azacca gives you a good bit of like pineapple and things as well, from what I remember. I do think that it's either Amarillo or Mosaic that's in this one. And you know, some of the earthiness does make me think Mosaic, because Mosaic has a wee bit of earthiness to it, but at the same time the oiliness of the orangey characters does make me think more Amarillo. But yeah, it's a very kind of straight up orangey note to this one. There is a wee bit of a kind of red fruity note to it, and almost a wee touch of an apricot-y kind of thing in there as well. I do get a little bit of an almost apricot-y jammy quality out of this beer, which is interesting, but there is a wee bit of that lighter kind of figgy, candied red fruity sort of thing to this one as well, but I would say mainly orangey in its aroma. So I do suspect maybe Mosaic and Amarillo. It could be Northern Brewer would be the other one they would use in this, but that's normally reserved for things like Dunkels and Doppelbocks. I don't know about Schwarzbiers right enough, but yeah, usually the Northern Brewer hop from Germany is used a little bit later. The other thing they could be using in this, come to think of it, would be Mandarina Bavaria. And that's an 8% alpha acid German hop that gives you some lovely orangey flavours as well. So that, it would give you the noble hops, so maybe they're using Mandarina Bavaria as their base hop in this one, along with the American hops later on. I don't think that this is only American hops in this. I think there's something German or Czech in this as the base hop. But yeah, I will say it's a really nice smelling beer, this one. It's very typical of what you'd expect of the style, and definitely some nice Pilsner malt here. But yeah, we've spent a bit of time on the aroma. Let's have a taste of this one then and see how we get on. This one is the Cutyard lager, a 5% Vienna lager from Fjäderholmarnas Bryggeri on the Fjäderholmarnas Islands, just out to the east of Stockholm. Let's get stuck into this one. Slange, skål. Oh yeah, that's nicely done. That is nicely done. Yeah, that gets a thumbs up from me. The thing that you always rate these beers on is authenticity, and I say I've not actually had. Come to think, I've never been able to review an authentic Vienna lager for you on the channel. All the ones that I've tried have been brewed by other people. So what I'm doing with this one, when I say it's very authentic, I'm thinking about what I would expect from, you know, a Czech lager or a German lager, and then sort of, you know, I'm thinking what I would expect from the Czech Leitzack beers, and then kind of comparing it. And compared to a Czech Leitzack, this one is really nice. I mean, I've always found the German ones are not quite as bready as the Czech variants. The Czech beers are always just a little bit more bready, and this one has the kind of cleanliness, if you like, that you would expect of, you know, what you would get from a German lager, and that's, I'm assuming that the Austrian lagers are a little bit kind of clean and more crisp like the German ones are. So let me know your own thoughts on that in the comment section below. But in terms of being a sort of Central European lager, this one is really authentic in my mind. So that's what you want from these styles when you drink them. So yeah, I really like how this goes together. Let's try and break down the flavour of this one then. It's got everything you'd want from the style. I mean, straight away with this beer, you can feel a nice little bit of that kind of bready malt just blanketing the middle of your palate there. You can feel the Pilsner malt pushing its way out a little bit later on. So the middle third of your tongue and the back third of your tongue, it's blanketed with a nice kind of Pilsnery sort of thing. There is a little bit of a kind of more thicker, kind of slightly white bready, almost very slightly brown bready kind of flavour. That blankets the kind of bit on top of your palate there as well. So that's really nice how that goes together. As you go towards the back third of your tongue, it does get a little bit more grainy, and you can feel a little bit more of that kind of pushing its way out of the palate. Yeah, this one isn't really nice in that regard actually. I like how that goes together in this one. I mean, it does have a good bit of sweetness. In the middle of your palate you do get a lovely kind of caramelly sweetness to this one. In the centre of your palate it is definitely kind of quite concentrated and caramelly, but as you move further out from the centre of your palate it gradually gets a little bit more kind of biscuity, like a kind of McVitie's digestive sort of thing actually. You really get a good bit of that out of this beer. But yeah, the flavour of this one is really very nice actually. I like how that goes together. It's got everything you'd expect. The one thing I would say about this is that I think it's a little bit, you can tell it's kind of the Nordic water and things like that. It feels very, very clean, but the water also has that slightly oily character to it, and that's not something I think you would necessarily find down in Austria. I mean, Austria is very mountainous. It is going to have, you know, very, very clean water and very pure water and things like that, but I would think the beers there would have a little bit of the kind of smoothness that you get from the German and the Czech ones as well, because it's just something that seems to translate into the brewing style of the whole region, if you like. But yeah, this is a really nicely done take on the Vienna lager. I love these styles of beer. I do enjoy a good lager. I've had some really nice ones. You know, the Pilsners that I had recently from Fjäderholmarnas Bryggeri were brilliant. I really, really like those. You know, there's some I think the lagers are hugely underrated. It's a hugely underrated style of beer in my opinion, and to try something like this that is a bit different, a bit more of a rare lager style, I think this is a real treat, to be honest with you. But yeah, they've done, I will say, Fjäderholmarnas have done a really nice job of this, so I'm really curious to try a few of their other types of lagers actually and see how they turn out. I think these guys should have a go at a Doppelbock as well. If they can brew a Vienna lager like this, I'd love to see them do a Doppelbock at Christmas time or something. That would be awesome. But yeah, the malt base and things in this is done very nicely. If you go to the front corners of your palate, then just move diagonally back a little bit, you will get a few little woody, very slight woody undertones there. And if you go to the centre of your palate and then come forward, you will notice that there's a very slight nutty flavour develops out of this one as well. But I really like how this beer goes together. It's lovely. But yeah, I do like how this is done. Really very nice. Let's concentrate on the hoppy side of the beer then. Back corners of the palate, you've got a little bit of that soft earthiness that you'd expect of a German noble hop. As you come further forward along the side of the palate, it does have a really nice, it does kind of mellow out a little bit, and you start to get some nice floral notes on the front corners of the palate. Then round the very front curve of the tongue, it's a little bit lighter and more grassy in my mind. I do wonder if there is Mandarina Bavaria in this, because the earthiness, it is very noble-like, and the floralness is very noble-like as well. So I do wonder, it does feel a little bit bolder though, if that makes sense. So I do wonder if that, you know, there is just a little bit more of that. You know, I do wonder if there is just a little bit more alpha acidity to the hops. But yeah, it is really nice. So I do wonder about Mandarina Bavaria. But as I always say, behind the front curve of the tongue, that's when you get that really nice oily bubble with the juicy fruity esters pushing their way out of the beer. So for me, This one, you've got that lovely, it's big and orangey. You do get a bit of a stronger kind of citrusy note, a bit of that kind of citrusy sourness towards the back of the palate, but then as you come further forward, it really kind of juicens up a little bit. As I say, it is mainly a nice big oily orange, so if it's American hops, I want to say it's Amarillo because it's got a bit more of that oily character, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is a little bit of Mosaic in there as well. But I suspect that it's Amarillo and Mandarin and Bavaria that are in this beer. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a wee bit of Northern Brewer, just a little touch of it, because if you go to the very front edge of the palate, you do get a few little almost, there are a few just very light sort of figgy and almost berryish notes coming off this one, like a candied red fruit, and that's a very common thing that you would find in like Doppelbocks and Dunkels, sometimes in the Schwarzbiers, but more often in the Tmavis, the Czech Tmavis, than the German Schwarzbiers. But yeah, the fruitiness in this I think is really nice. It's big oranginess, and it kind of goes together well with the sort of biscuity and caramelly malt base that this beer has. But I will say, this is a really solid Vienna lager for me. I really like this one. Kind of wish I'd bought more bottles of it now, but as I say, I don't really drink outside of the beer reviews. The whole beer thing for me is about tasting different things, but to have this on tap at the brewery, that would be really nice actually. Like I say, I do hope that I can feature these guys on one of my Meet the Brewery segments in the future. But yeah, this is really nice. So well done to Fjäderholmarnas. I do want to try a few of their other lagers, so I need to see what ones I can get a hold of. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one, then this is where I would say it's a bit different. So this is quite to me overall, I find this to be quite a mid-bodied beer. The carbonation is very smooth. It's got quite an oily mouthfeel, to be honest with you. It's actually at the bottom end, sort of middle of the whole mid-bodied kind of category. This one is, to me, it strikes me as quite oily, but at the same time, it's got a very clean mouthfeel too. It's not the crispest of lagers, even though it has a bit of that Pilsner malt. And you will get a wee bit of the Pilsner malt coming out at the back of the palate. It is a more oily lager, this, and you would expect that from a Vienna lager and a Dunkel. So from the light Sax and Chernies, if you want to go into it as well. But yeah, you would expect that. But this one does feel a little bit thicker, I think, than some of the examples that I had in the Czech Republic. I would say that, but nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. In terms of the hoppy bitterness out of this beer, I think this is about a 25-ish, 20-25 IBU beer. You have got a wee bit of hoppy bitterness to it, but again, this is a more malt orientated lager beer. Middle of your palate, as I say, nice smooth bready base, but on top of that you've got a good little bit of sweetness there as well, and you've got a lovely oiliness to the fruits too. But yeah, this one I think it has been a real treat. As I say, I think this is a beer style that is really underrated. I wish more people would have a go at the late Sax, the Vienna lagers, the amber lagers. I wish more people would do these, but I think Fjäderholmarnas have done a really nice job of this one. As I say, the only kind of key difference for me about this is that it's a little bit oily, I think, compared to other ones. But I like that. I think that helps bring out the malt, the kind of caramelly maltiness, and also the orangey flavours that this beer has. But a lovely example of the Vienna lager style, and I do hope that I can try this on tap sometime. That would be awesome. But yeah, I do want to try more lagers from this brewery. I'd love to see what they could do with a Doppelbock on the basis of this one, and to do a Tmavi and a Cherny and a Helles. I think that would be interesting. These guys are obviously capable when it comes to brewing the kind of low temperature fermentation beers, so I need to see what else they've got available, like I said. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. This one was the Cutyard, a 5% Vienna lager from Fjäderholmarnas Bryggeri on the Fjäderholmarnas Islands, just out to the east of Stockholm. Really enjoyed reviewing this one for you, and I hope that you guys, pardon me, have enjoyed my take on this one too. A bit of a longer review, but I always get excited when it comes to styles we don't review very often. Thank you again for watching my reviews. As always, let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from the Fjäderholmarnas Islands as well. Do give me some other Vienna lager recommendations. I do hope that I can go to Vienna at some point and try some more of those for you. But thank you again for watching. I will catch you guys very soon. The Cutyard, or what was it? Is it? Yeah, Cutyard. I was going to say Cutthroat. The Cutyard Vienna Lager at 5% ABV from Fjäderholmarnas Bryggeri out to the east of Stockholm. Slanja, skull. Thanks for watching.